Hi, friends. Host Eric here. I was talking with 5 people. And I'm eating cheese. I like cheese. It tastes like flavor. Anyhow, how we talk about functions. I was trying to taxonomy the different ways that people talk about functions today. Hello. Piece of paper somewhere. It's like basically when we talk about functions, we talk about them as essentially values, behaviors, composite sketch of a person's attributes or kind of life or skills, or as a responsive process, meaning like a interactive thing, like if you ask this, respond to this, or slot analysis. The challenge, of course, is every function only exists in a specific slot. But we talk about them as though they were, in a vacuum, kind of. Hi, Winston's mom. How's it going? Hi, Xavier Phil. I didn't mean to delete that live stream from this morning, but I meant to remove it from a playlist. But on my phone, it's a lot easier to delete a video than it is on the laptop. So I accidentally put on a playlist it wasn't supposed to be on. So I take off the playlist, but I ended up deleting the whole video. So my concern anytime any video like disappears is there anybody's gonna be like, you are trying to hide something? No, it's totally an accident, whatever it is. What type of Alex Jones? I'd say an ENFJ. I mean, he's obviously he's got terrible TI, yes, but I see him as FE and TI fourth rather than polar. Definitely NI. You know? I mean, it seems to me that would be an example of tool function excess, Because obviously Alex Jones, Jay Polar and a smart ENFP doesn't really look like much, except you'll encounter it when talking to them about certain kinds of topics where they want to basically insist that what they think is important is the relevant consideration rather than stuff like how this actually plays out. So, ENFPs are prone to a lot of inherency arguments saying this is a big problem because of meow, and we should do meow because this is a big problem, not because this will solve that problem, not because this is fair, not because meow. Uh, Based on the overarching system he espouses, singularities that diverges from the whole seemingly imagined scenarios. Well, I mean, he's delivering a bunch of very distilled NI explanations for things and truths for things. So NI is slow to attach to any specific explanation for things because there's always other possibilities, you know. It seems to me that what he's doing is FENI. He found a way that he could play into other people's, I should say, appetite for NI ghost stories, you know. NI ghost stories are that there are secret forces behind the scenes planning things and meowing the meow, you know. Good day. Bit of a long day. I mean, not really, but it was frustrating when Rachel and I went out to well, I actually do think that SJWs are predominantly NI and less NE. I think the types that are most likely to be SJWs are ESFPs, ISFPs. I mean, the thing is, you can get to SJW from two directions: from an NI, from unhealthy NI, in other words, either poorly applied or misleading NI, or you could get to it from poorly realized TI. So if you put FI above TI, that's one way to get to that. If you put NI above NE, that's another way to get to that. You're going to maximally get it when you have both NI FI types. INFPs, okay. Well, I mean, the thing is, I actually don't see the social justice warriors position as being a particularly NI position. An NI position is it's unnuanced but not confused. The SJW position is unnuanced and confused. That's more of an FI thing. I don't think SFJs are likely to become SJWs. You know, ISFJs, ESFJs, they're non-ideological. They have no NI at all. You got to have enough of a relationship with NI to be susceptible to ideology. I mean, look. Well, the thing about FI, though, is it will lead people to lots of wrong positions based on importance in a vacuum. I mean, look, this ridiculous COVID thing is an FI problem. People think, well, this is really important. Okay, but you're not thinking. You know? Dale Gribble seems like maybe ISTJ. Oh, it's okay, email Anthrax. We were waiting for you, but we didn't have to wait too long. So I've got my third script for the thing that Rachel and I are working on doing. It's the INTJ pitch. INTJ pitch. Sorry, INTJ pitch. It is Romeo and Juliet Part 2. That's not BS, Broccoli Todd. It's true. I mean, look, they're not as conspiracy-ish as INTJs, but that's a good. Thank you, Octavia Silva. That's a great place to start. You're right. Do you believe that numbers have meaning? I was unable to get Drano today. Why? Because the line to get into Home Depot, which is the first place I went to go get there, was outrageously long. Okay, I'll Google that number. Okay, so human body activity associated with the task provided to a user may be used in a mining process of cryptocurrency system. A server may provide a task to a device of a user which is communicatively coupled to the server. A sensor communicatively coupled to or comprised in the device of the user may sense body activity of the user. Body activity data may be generated based on the sensed body activity of the user. The cryptocurrency system communicatively coupled to the device of the user may verify the body activity data satisfies one or more of the conditions set by the cryptocurrency system and award cryptocurrency to the user whose body activity data is verified. Well, what's the body activity data supposed to be? Like what are you supposed to do to earn your cryptocurrency? Body activity data. I mean, like, what is that? Like walking around or something? Um, I just, for example, a brainwave or body heat emitted from the user when the user performs the task provided by an information or service provider, such as viewing an advertisement or using certain internet services, can be used in the mining process. So what's wrong with that? I don't understand what the problem is. You're right about what? I mean, it's interesting. I'm glad you pointed me to it, but I'm not. What type would say the absence of evidence doesn't necessitate the evidence of absence? Any good thinker? Okay. So, but I don't understand, why is it so bad? Why is this a bad thing? This is what you've not explained. Okay, but you're not explaining why it's a bad thing that I can convert my behavior directly into the wealth it generates according to its utility to others, rather than having a delay between those two things. Oops. Wait, what? Sorry, Zandy. I'm sure that was an accident. um, Rachel likes to accidentally wreak havoc in the chat periodically. So, why is it a resignation of your free will? But see, I mean, there's nothing in there that suggests that, right? It's a way to choose to interface with a system that's going to pay you for doing certain things to make it more streamlined if you do them, right? I don't understand how it takes away your free will. It seems like you're inferring things from this that it doesn't justify inferring from. You know, it's like these inferences you're making are not justified by the data you're pointing to. No, I mean, look, I have no interest in this either way. I'm not an interested party, so to speak. I'm just saying that just because this is shiny and that is shiny doesn't mean there's any connection at all, you know? She's typing fast because she's sorry. That sounds like another mistake. I think she meant to say, I'm typing fast, sorry. It's just, well, what makes sense? Why does it make sense that like, there's no mechanism by which somebody's will can be hijacked that we know of yet. There might be someone someday, maybe, but I can't even conceive of how that would go about doing that. How anybody would go about doing that. I'm waiting for 5G plumbing so I can fill up a full bathtub in 30 seconds. Yeah, well, you can look at her all you want in your imagination. Ain't nothing I got to say about that. You can look at her all you want in your imagination. I worry a little bit about Rachel dropping her phone in the bath. Or actually, she's on my phone. I worry about her dropping my phone in the bath. She has a tendency to, when carrying electronic objects, she has a tendency to, in a wide open field, if she's going to walk across the field and drop it at some point, it'll accidentally be right when she's standing over a bucket of water. So she's a menace to phones, I think you could say. I think it's fair to say. Rachel, you're a bit of a phone menace. If I was a phone, I'd be like, no, don't sell me to her. No, please. She's going to drown me in the toilet. I'm just joking, baby. I hope you're not offended at all. Just teasing. No, don't be. I can't tell if she's. That's the thing about reading text. I can't tell if she thinks that's funny what I'm saying or if she's offended by it. I think it's funny. Okay, good. The last time she dropped it in the toilet, it dried out and it worked fine again. Yeah, so, well, okay. We didn't have to get it repaired. It just repaired itself over time. Here comes the TE. Everyone's got TE solutions for Rachel's phone dropping. Yeah. So we've got a new strain tonight. It's called Quest. So you could say that this is a weed called Quest. Yeah. You were a second too late. Whoever named this must have thought, ha 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 ha, that's funny. The leaving shit on the car thing. Most of the time, if I'm going to leave something on the car, on top of the car, 90% of the time, it's going to be a cup of coffee. And then I have coffee spilled all over my car. So I go to 7-Eleven, I get my cigarettes, I'm putting my cigarettes in my pocket, put the coffee up there. Okay, get in the car. It's like you get coffee all over your white car. It's terrible. But the one time I remember putting something in my car and leaving it there and losing it. It was not coffee. It was horrible. I had this really expensive pair of sunglasses that were made out of wood. They're by like a fancy sunglass company, and it cost like $150, $170 for the sunglasses or something. No, the car's not a Yaris. I have a Mini Cooper. So I left them it wasn't even on top of the car. I left them on the front hood. Like I'd set them down on the thing there between like the windshield wiper and the front hood kind of. And I got in the car and I got onto this highway, and then I watched my sunglasses going like this. Like, no! And before I could even start to pull over, they were just like, psh. No. It was in slow motion. Yeah, it was tragic. You have a Yaris? Who has a Yaris here besides Emo the Anthrax? I want to know all about the Yarises in the house. How many Yarises do we have in the house? Swift Eagle, has a question, everybody. Everybody, shh, 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 shh. Octavia, shh. Swift Eagle has a question. Oh, your sister has a Yaris. Can you give her my heartiest congratulations on her Yaris ownership? Tell her that puts her in a very select club of Yaris owners. Or don't. You can retract that statement if you want. What do you call a marathon in the desert? Oh, right. Marathon in the desert. Don't tell me yet. Don't tell me. Is it a drive run? Thanks, Steve. That's funny. It's a good one. I like it. I like that answer. I expected it to be more tricky than that or something, but it's good. It's funny. I like it. You have a Ford Focus and a Ford Ranger? Well, the Ford company appreciates your business. Hey, don't be talking smack about the Yaris, Infertile Piggy. The Yaris is like a Hyundai, but way more magical. My current car is probably my favorite car that I've ever had. Although I gotta say, hey, Octavio Solo. Yes, on the magical part, but no on the car for everybody part. Name their cars. I don't name my car. That's true. I named my first car the Swami Mobile. It's called the Swami Mobile because Dave Porter named it that. And what he meant to say was the San Juan Mobile, because there's this bank called San Juan Bank back at the time. And I don't know. I don't remember why he decided it was related to San Juan Bank, but he mispronounced that word all the time and called it Swami Bank. And so that's why it was called the Swami Mobile. The Mini is just the Mini. You know, I just call it the Mini or my car, the Cooper. Now that I'm my significant other doesn't have a car, there's never really much reason to talk about your car. Like, usually if you're talking to your significant other about your car, it's because you're saying, all right, can you move your car? Because my car is in behind your car. And your GPS was named long before your car was. GPS was Mildred. Your car is Greta. I see. Yeah, I'm not really a car namer. I get to see my last car a lot. The, what's it called? Scion. My old car, the Scion, it had a lot of fucking issues. Like a lot of registration issues and smog check issues and everything under the sun. And it was so much of a like burdensome and costly thing to deal with that I just ended up, and plus I needed to get it away from Kimberly's house. I just gave the car to Cameron if he wanted it. You know, if he would move it away from Kimberly's house, it's his car. Go for it. He's done an amazing job with it. It's looking great. It's he's got it all running great, and he feels like he totally scored. He solved a huge problem for me in the process. I like the fact that that he's so happy with the car. It makes me happy that he was so happy. And That was a good car, but I like my current car better. Who was a CIA agent? Who? Oh, MLKJ. Um, I would say Martin Luther King Jr. was not necessarily an SJW because the thing was, I mean, it was the time in history when it was appropriate to make the points he was making. You know, it's not like they didn't have a point, right? And he did it in as successful a way as he could, given the context and such. Yeah, how is everyone defining this SJW is a good question. I mean, I would define it simply as upholding of equality is the primary value, and you know it unavoidably causes massive problems. I mean, anybody who thinks that equality is a value that we should uphold is barking up the wrong tree. You're tired of everyone being called a narcissist? Okay. Equality. Equity is a desirable value. Equality is not. Can you retype that, Curious Kyra? I'm confused. I think there's something happening in your typing. Upholding equality that likely is unnecessary for a present societal climate? Well, equity would be sort of just. It's. Well, let's Google it and see what they say. I mean, I would distinguish it as being equity, meaning. Let's see. Define equity in the philosophical sense, not in the quality being fair and impartial. Whereas equality is equality, the thing of being equal, especially in status, rights, and opportunities. Equity, equality being fair and impartial is a good thing. Equality, instead of being equal, is not a value you should uphold. So equity is a value, equality is a description. And you should never uphold a description as a value. No, James, that's equality. That's equality that you hate. Equity is not that. Equity is fairness. Look, the problem with what you're talking about here about equality of outcome versus opportunity. The real problem isn't so much quality of outcome or opportunity so much as they're not evaluating things except as a description of the status quo. The status quo is not acceptable because there's some inequality in the status quo. And then if you try to get down to the nuts and bolts of like, well, how are we going to fix this thing? Then they sort of collapse down to, well, the point is we have to do something. And when really the argument should be, this thing you're saying is a problem is not a problem. It's a feature, not a bug, right? If we have the properly structured system, then people who provide more total utility to everybody in the world, then those people will receive the largest amount of wealth, because in fact it's not a share of wealth, it's that if properly structured, every time people work, they generate new wealth in the world, which gets represented by new money. That's why the amount of money continues to go up in the world without there being inflation, or at least not substantial inflation. SJWs would likely not be able to provide an impartial or unemotional reason for their actions that doesn't necessarily completely negate their viewpoint. Well, remember, Curious Kyra, in this instance, we're talking about people making a public policy advocacy. So your viewpoint can be whatever it wants. But when you start advocating public policy, then your sentence should begin with, the following is something I want to force on everybody. So at that point, you need to be communicably defensible to everybody. It's inadequate for you to even engage in public policy advocacy if you don't think you have to justify it with things that withstand objective scrutiny. There's a fundamental problem with how you're approaching this matter entirely, because you're not understanding that our cognitive function deficits don't justify advocating violence against other people. And that's exactly what they're doing, So we can't, this is one of those things where we have to say, look, some people just are not qualified to make advocacies. And we don't have to say that we're going to judge people as to whether they're qualified to make advocacies. We just have to make it clear, qualified advocacies sound and look like this. And if you can't do something like that, don't even bother, because you're not saying anything real. You're just hurting everybody. Look, words and views can be offensive, for sure. It's possible. But note that there are some words and views that are offensive, and there are some that are not. And that doesn't change. And there are reasons why they're offensive, and there are reasons why they're not. And those don't change. See, that's part of the problem, Curious Kyra. You should be choosing a side or advocating a position or disputing or affirming, because you're probably capable of doing so. You seem to be making reasonable statements so far. So, problem is, we don't have a lot of people in the world who can think properly about public policy. So for those of us who can, we need to do so. And for those people who can't, they need to have explained to them why it is not the case that your opinion is valuable too, and we really need to hear it. No, you should be ashamed of yourself. You're advocating violence you don't even know, you moron. Those should be our words to them. Of course. Otherwise, we're lying to ourselves. Hi, baby. What do you think of the idea that FITE users are into science? FI over TE is more theoretical, and TE over FI practical, and TIFE is more human dynamics. Yeah, I would say that's generally true. They don't know it either, Curious Kyra. They don't understand that the outcomes they insist be legislated require violence to attain. So they're not knowingly advocating violence. They don't get, they're so dumb about guns that they genuinely don't understand that when you pull the trigger, a bullet shoots out.
Happens a lot.
So it's like, they think they're not advocating violence. They're saying, no, we need to pull these triggers. We need to pull these triggers. Triggers need to be pulled. And then you go, but hold on, and you pull the trigger, bullets will fire out. What? No, we don't have to fire bullets. We just need to pull the triggers. We need to pull the triggers. That's the kind of stupidity people engage in. It just sounds a lot more complicated than that. They say, let's engage in this public policy in which a centralized government authority imposes more forced shit onto people in a coercive way that results in mass amounts of incarceration and it ruins lives, and it's totally unjustified because we're not talking about real crime and all that kind of shit. And they don't know that's what they're advocating because they can't think properly. Yeah, look around, sweetie.
Okay.
Did you spill all the weed?
I did. No, not all of it. A lot of it, though. 3 nugs. 4. Oh, this is mine.
Thanks. I guess not the phone this time, but the weed, correct.
See? T polar.
Yeah. No, she didn't. It's fine. It's like if there was any spilled,
It really didn't.
It really didn't
spill. It was
spill.
4 nugs.
Yeah, I know. I can tell. I saw it. I can see immediately that it was. You didn't really spill it. And even if you had, no big deal. Shit happens.
Yeah, my boyfriend knows.
It just happened at a moment where I was irritated at something else, and it was
This is true. If sometimes when you're
it was like a punching at somebody else and it goes around and hits you.
Yeah, and I do that to you too sometimes. So this is real life. Everybody in the club get tipsy. Everybody in the club get tipsy.
Did you hear that, guys? You've been instructed to get tipsy. This is the club.
However tipsy is to you. Like tipsy to me is being a little bit airheady because of marijuana.
Yeah, tipsy for me too. That's why they call me Tipsy Hussle. After Nipsey Hussle. I was named after Nipsey Hussle.
Wow, you're named after.
Yeah. I was born after his death. My parents decided to name me Tipsy Hussle as an homage to him. Eric, how do 4th and 7th slot compare? Is 4th slot weak? It's unattended to most of the time. The thing is, it's like, how to put this? So you're constantly in your dominant function all day long, what you're always doing, except when you're in your 4th function. So sometimes I gotta stop ideating, stop making scripts or live streaming or chatting with you guys or arguing about Mia or playing with Mia, and I just gotta go, chill out, Eric. It's time to eat, time to relax, time to rest. That's when I go off of my main frame that is operating most of the time. So the thing about the 4th slot function is it's something you'd like to attend to at your whim. Like when you feel like doing it, that's when you want to do it. When you don't feel like doing it, you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And it takes discipline for you to focus on your 4th slot. Unless you're permitted by life to be totally indulgent about it.
Yeah.
Fucking goddamn this fucking pipe.
It's funny to see that because I took grammar in high school. Like that's a class that I took for English, and I did really well up until the end. I just threw it away at the end. I couldn't take enough. It was too. I was having personal stuff going on in my life, so I guess my TI was like personal stuff over school stuff. So my grammar, I went down the drain. Oh.
So was Thanos an SJW? No. I wouldn't say that his philosophy was remotely similar to SJW philosophies. His philosophy was somewhat the opposite of that. His thing was like all life is equally prone to the same excess and needs to be pruned back periodically in order to thrive. That's very different. Whereas like SJWs are blamers, right? They're group blamers. Now you might say, well, aren't you doing group blaming too, Eric? No, I'm not blaming SJWs for anything. I'm not saying the reason the world is like that is because of SJWs. I am saying that this practice that there's of blaming men or blaming white people or blaming street people or blaming the privileged or blaming the dominant elite or whatever, that's fucking stupid. And that their advocacies accordingly are incredibly dumb. But I'm not blaming them for anything because I don't think they really have any power or have accomplished anything.
What are the SJWs?
Well, the ultimate example of an SJW is AOC. You know who she is? That lady?
No.
She's Alexandria Ortega-Cortez or something.
Okay.
And she is a very much an SJW, advocates very strongly held positions without any regard for reality of how things go and other people's perception. It's just like, if you're a super feminist,
a social justice warrior.
Yeah, social justice warrior. SJW is a social.
If social justice like warrior were a thing, there would be less homelessness in California. It doesn't really work that much. Social justice thing.
Yeah, the thing is, SJWs are very unlikely to care about policies that help with, say, the homeless problem.
Rachel, AOC is from your part of the world, 14th Congressional District of the eastern part of the Bronx and portion of North Central Queens in New York City. What does that mean?
She's a congressman. She's a New York congresswoman.
Who are you?
Alexandria Ortega-Cortez.
Oh.
She's a New York congresswoman. She's a congresswoman from the state of New York.
Oh. I don't know anything about her. I didn't vote for her. I don't usually vote for those people. I did go to Albany once, though, and it's a weird city.
She doesn't represent you. She's not in your district.
Bronx and Queens. I see. Queens is doing pretty good. I don't know about the Bronx much. I only went there for the zoo and for Yankee games.
The thing to remember about SJWs in general is when they do get power, like AOC, well, then they have to make policy of some sort. They've got to actually say, okay, well, this is what we should do. Unfortunately, that's going to be very difficult for them because what they're really saying is, I feel strongly, and that's not anything.
Salem Black, that's what makes you special. I love that about ISFJs.
Good question, email Anthrax. Good question.
How many people were now homeless now that the Avengers Reverse Thanos snap? That is a great question.
Yeah, it's a good question. I agree. This thing is fucking frustrating me. We have no...
I know. Well, we got Pinkie Pie. You want to smoke from this? And I'll take Pinkie Pie?
No, I'll try this one, I guess. I'm really frustrated by this.
We got to go far to get... Well, we can go to LA Kush.
No, I just gotta think about this.
Okay. They fight to destroy white patriarchy, which is BS. They come from a place of self-loathing and projection. It's annoying.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the basic problem with anybody who complains about privilege or whatever
Jake Hurwitz.
is
Just move it out of whose hand?
when you're playing a blame game, then you tend to have solutions whereby you make these supposedly privileged people less privileged. Note, if it is in fact the case that some people are privileged, then the problem is the people who are not privileged need to be more privileged, right? But instead, it ends up going the other direction entirely and says, no, since these people aren't high up enough, let's bring you down a lot and maybe raise them up a little bit or something. That's just bullshit. It's not okay. So, well, I mean, look, everybody has their critiques or whatever. Remember that people are dangerous insofar as they can articulate their positions as advocacies that can actually be accomplished. Most of the people that everyone goes, oh, SJWs and blowing them, they're not any risk because they're too dumb to get anything accomplished. Look at AOC.
Annoying.
Look at AOC. She managed to get herself to be a congresswoman.
Not good.
But now what? Okay, go ahead, AOC. Write some legislation and get it passed.
Yeah, right. She won't know what to even say. She won't know where to start.
She has no fucking clue. She has the slightest idea. She's a laughingstock amongst anybody who knows anything about public policy.
She could have been voted for so many reasons, you know.
I mean, it's people just saying, I support her hardcore leftist position.
Exactly. That's dangerous.
Well, I mean, you know.
I guess I could bring others down. In politics, you do have to be careful of who you vote for, though. It is important. Like Eric says, like, we forget that the president is a public servant. So they're supposed to be working for us, the public servants, like, to make our lives better. Not like achieve some success and title to like prove a point about things.
Well, listen, Zayden Black, I appreciate what you're saying about hearing everybody's perspectives included, yada yada. The fact is, governance is like any other field in the world. It is not the case that in any field in the world you can replace somebody who's good at it and qualified and skilled and knowledgeable with some random person and it'll work out fine.
No. Not at all. You have to have someone who has policy understandings.
Yeah, and the problem currently in the country is that we are not interested, it seems, in electing people based on whether or not they can actually do this job or have any of the skills. We don't think of it as requiring any skills.
I don't know nothing about her. I don't talk politics. When I would talk anything about my politics at the table in my family was how my mom voted for Bush like 1 year. How my dad's upset that we can't have conversations about Trump because he's so right or like left-wingist. And then we talk about the stock markets, and that's it. So I don't know who that woman is. I live on Long Island. We have a whole different set of crooks.
AOC is both harmless and offensive. You know, it's easy to hate her because she's so smug in her correctness despite not having the capacity to even begin to try to be correct.
She's definitely a 3.
She doesn't hate. She's TI polar.
Yeah.
She's ENFP as hell.
Yeah.
ENFP, stay out of politics, please. You have no business in politics. Politics requires disinterested calculus.
Let's see how it goes. Queen of Video, she's a fucking idiot. I'm just saying, let's see how it goes. It's gonna be interesting.
I mean, the thing is, she's harmless though. Is the point?
SNL is gonna be able to do a lot with her for comedy. That's for sure.
I'm sure they already have. She's been around for a couple years now.
Oh,
You know when Britain talks politics too damn much, we're sick of it.
what?
Climate change is racist, misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic, and nothing you can say to change my mind. Okay, so like, let's say somebody were to make that statement. I'd say, "Oh, I don't want to change your mind. I don't want to pick your mind. You're absolutely right. So how are we going to solve this? What's the solution?" Okay, so what are you saying? That doesn't say anything, right, Clayton? If somebody says climate change is racist, misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic, and nothing you can say to your mind, forget the last part, right? It doesn't matter if you say climate change is racist. It's insane.
Yeah, because host Eric is very smart.
The White House phone number is the congressional switchboard number.
Don't even say anything. Can we right now? Can I ask for homosexual?
I do not want to prank call the government.
Oh, come on.
No, Rachel, I don't want any part of that. Anyway, so the thing is, I will call them at some point when I feel like I something specific I want to talk to them.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
It's like
that's fair.
The thing is, I would have no objection to calling my congressman or something if I felt there were something specific to address. The problem is, this is way beyond me calling my congressman. I've already resigned myself to the fact that the only possible way I can get this fucking thing fixed up or cleaned up is become president. It's people like, well, why did you vote last time, Eric? It's like, oh my God. This clusterfuck of a disaster is going to require a lot more than a little bit of political like theater for me. It's going to require me to actually fucking do something.
That's a lot of stuff.
It's going to require me to actually become president. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. And it's like, it's a burden, and it's troubling to think that I understand that I am obligated to try to make it happen.
We have faith in you.
Thanks, Swift Eagle. I will say that while LaPalooza may be the first lady, she's not actually going to be on the ticket like that. She's not going to be my vice president.
No, I'm not vice president. I'm first lady, right?
Yeah, you're first lady. You're not vice president.
No, but I appreciate.
Because normally when they say Strauss LaPalooza, that's the vice president. You know?
Just clearing it up. No, I'm not running for vice president. He has a vice president in mind, though.
That's what I'd like to see, yeah. I want Dave Chappelle as my running mate. Now,
that was a humdinger. Are you happy about that?
I am.
Me too.
Switch Eagle's recommending I run with Spacey. No. No.
He has to make some changes before we can, like, you know what I talk about? Well, there's mending fences. Look at yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I might need to mend some fences. I don't know.
And he does too. Are you kidding? He also does. It's not just you.
No, I know that's where you were going with it. I started with me and was gonna transition to.
Wow. It came from me too.
Yeah, I am gonna nominate you for chairman of Joint Chiefs. Mrs. Mom. You're my military person. So wait.
Oh.
So Secretary of Defense is not. I have to learn more about this, I guess.
Yeah, true. They don't get money.
What is it like? So, what are the respective roles of the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs? FI is not morals, James. If FI were morals, then people who were victimized would never be prone to vengeance, but instead to forgiveness of those who victimized them. That's good. Morals. Okay, well, look, the morals or ethics in general can be broken into two categories of things. So there is a TI understanding of it in which basically it's a principled, it's an application of principles, an attempt to be fair, and an attempt to understand what fairness means, and to attain that by avoiding things like hypocrisy and indefensibility.
Hey, Matthew.
And there are various metrics that you can use to establish that, but what it boils down to is that the aspects of morals or ethics that can be understood logically, that can be rationally supported and parsed out, are the negative obligations. In other words, one can rationally establish, and one can only establish through reason, not through one's feelings, that there's a moral obligation to respect the rights of others. Now, in contrast, when it comes to positive obligations, what one ought to do, a positive obligation would be, you see a child drowning, do you have an obligation to save that child? Well, the answer, according to reason and logic, is no.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that the obligation doesn't exist. However, it does mean that the obligation is particularist. Do you have an obligation to save the drowning child if you're a quadriplegic in the wheelchair?
Right.
No, you don't have an obligation to. You don't have an ability to. How could you possibly have an obligation to? Do you have an obligation to save the drowning child if you don't notice the drowning child? No. How could you be obligated to save somebody that you don't ever notice or see? So we can see that the positive obligations can't be universalized in the same way that the negative obligations can. And therefore, to the extent that you understand your own positive moral indications, you do so either through FI. In that sense, you can say FI lends to the positive moral side of things. For example, whether or not you decide it's a good idea to give that homeless guy $1 may be determined by how bad you feel for him, which may be determined by various factors.
Mm-hmm.
Or may be determined by how you feel in general right in that moment.
Big sneeze for little Eric. Goo.
Yeezy season. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough call. Could go either way.
Either way?
He says, what if you're a capable off-duty lifeguard who notices a kid drowning, but you really have to poop?
Yeah. It's a good question.
Let's say I was bullied relentlessly as a child and suffered because of it. I see someone bullied and need to step in. Is that FI or FE? Well, whether your reasons for stepping in would be complicated, I would guess. The FI or the FE, FI is how you feel about it when you see it. If it makes you angry, then the FI is anger. If it makes you scared, the FI is fear. If it makes you sad, the FI is sad. So the thing is, when the decision that you're talking about there is not a function, it's it may be more predictable what you choose to do because of your function stack. So, or maybe more predictable for what you choose to do because of your experience. How much your experience impacts what you're going to do may have a lot to do with your cognitive function stack. Well, look, Winston's mom, why even bother with that then? Why don't you just keep the poop out of the water?
Yeah,
Just
no
poop-
one wants the poop in the water.
just
No one,
poop
even
on the
if the reason
ground
is to
where
save
you
our
are.
lives.
Just say, just don't drown for just that 1 minute, kid, and you just poop right there wherever you are. Just pull in your pants, just poop right there, and you don't even wipe. Just okay, fine, just whatever. But he's off duty. He's off duty lifeguard. Email
It
answer.
happened.
All right, so the thing is, the positive moral obligations are determined by a number of different things. Okay. And for me, my understanding of positive moral obligations comes from, I think, NI, FI, FE. I'm not. I basically say that I get my, to the extent that I need clarity on positive moral indications, I use faith-based behaviors to attain that. Or a more bumper stickery way of saying this is
Good to know.
You can know what not to do as just by yourself or as people. As human beings, we can figure out what not to do. But we've got to delegate the question of what to do to some God or external understanding or leave it unresolved. One of the two.
True. EA, off duty or not, still lifeguard. So if someone needs CPR and you're in the room, do you have to see, do you have to perform it on them? Is that your obligated duty? I think that's really interesting.
I mean, the thing is, the reality is, no, it's not your duty. Nobody can be there. For example, everybody might condemn you, but everybody might condemn you. Now, there are certain circumstances.
Yeah,
well, there are certain circumstances where you would be obligated to.
Yeah.
For example, I was CPR trained for work. If something happened at work, I would be obligated to use it. But if something happened outside of work, I would not be obligated to use it.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm wondering.
And even if I failed to meet my obligation at work, I would only be subject to civil penalties at worst, and I'd getting fired.
That's always honest and fair and true. Justin finds special. I would agree with that in a little bit.
Moral obligations aren't true obligations. Yes, they are. But look, the thing is, obligatory is not the same thing as saying it's preordained, right? It's saying it's to say something is obligatory is to say that there is a conditional setup. If you fail to meet that duty, then you are subject to the status of mia. What makes an obligation true? Well, for the only way we can establish something like the truth of an obligation is in the negative rights, in the negative half of the equation. In that sense, and even then, it's the logic chain is based on axiomatically on some central points of agreement, such as, for example, slavery is unacceptable. If you're not going to agree with that, then we can't. Then we're not going to be able to come to any sort of agreement about whether or not the moral obligation is legitimate. The thing is, if you have to remember that when we're talking about moral obligations, it always occurs in some sort of conversation between people. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. So when you're asking, well, what is a moral obligation as it exists in a vacuum? Well, it never exists in a vacuum. It's always manifest within the context of things in which moral obligations have meaning.
Can I maybe change the subject just for a moment?
Sure.
Because I want to do a card read for Mother's Day.
That's a good idea.
Isn't that nuts? That's brave of you, Waldo.
Did she live? Cool.
That's good.
It's good.
Sarah Pereira. Do we resolve FI through faith to put somewhere that FI was related to sufficiency? Sufficiency, is that put the same?
Excellent question. I would say no. But remember, I have a very I'm very FI dumb. So I don't think of feelings as anything that I can I don't think of feelings as being the thing that that cause that faith addresses. I think faith addresses the thing that addresses feelings. So what I mean by that is if I have clarity about the truth and it's properly sourced truth, then it'll be the truth that is that leaves me at peace. It's a truth that leaves me at peace. So in that regard, that peace then should relieve me of wherever the spigot that's spewing emotions is coming from. It's like I just cannot think about that hardly. I don't know.
Okay, we need a poll for all the mothers out there.
All right, mothers of the world.
You get the
9 of Wands. 9 of 6, 9 of Wands, Wands of 6, 6 of 9, 9 of 6, 9 of Wands, of Wands of 9.
Sounds like it was a busy day for the moms and the dads out there. Actually, I want to know how it was for the single dads too.
Single dads, this
Did
one's
they
for
get a
you.
mom day, or is it just that?
I think single dads get half of a mom's day plus dad's day.
Yeah. Ooh, you were kind of like, I'm gonna do what I want today because it's my day because I work my butt off as a single dad.
You know what? Single dads on Mother's Day probably don't have custody of their kids, right? Probably,
yeah, truth.
Probably kid goes visit mom on Mother's Day before they go back to live with dad. And so dad goes, oh, hell yeah, look at me. I got a cup in one hand, pentacle in the other, stick on tied to my foot. I got a sword tied to the other foot. I'm ready to party.
Yeah.
Yes, you can, James. Okay. James, here we go. Here you are. Here you go. So it's the parts of you that think and that feel and that blink. Let's see. Part 1 of James that we're talking about. This is his whimsical self. His self of whimsy.
Hierophant.
You're so conventional about whimsy, James. This is a conventional card. Maybe this means you're either whimsical about things that are conventional, or you could be very conventional about whimsy. I will get to your question, Sarah Pereira. I like your question.
Wow, that was a really good cough for that answer. James, you're a fucking priest and you got the Hierophant.
I think he's saying the priest is the Hierophant.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you are.
Okay, James, are you ready for your very serious self?
Ace of Swords.
No.
I mean, oh my god, wow.
Knight.
I'm really stony.
Knight of Swords. Hi, Cloud.
You are a priest?
Oh, you are a priest?
See? That's what I'm saying. Like, that's pretty
Catholic?
boxer.
Are you a Catholic priest? Knight of Swords.
Crusader?
That's your
Okay,
serious self, okay? Your whimsical self, your serious self. your
Okay, cool. I'm glad we like cleared that up that you're not a priest.
this is your creative self. Okay, James.
Oh, I'm so gullible.
This is the world to you.
Ooh,
Your creative self is the world to you, James.
that's nice.
Your serious self is out there doing business like the Nightosaurus, chopping
Yeah.
at leaves that fly in the sky.
Like onward.
Your whimsical self, you laugh at convention. But your creative self makes you feel like a naked lady with a purple sash in front of a giant planet. All right. Let's see. Somebody else said they wanted a card. I don't remember who it was. Let's find out.
You can do one for me after that if you
Oh, okay,
like.
my precious angel. I'll do you right now. Okay. Rachel.
You love anime. This is so fun. I love doing this stuff.
This I'm going to call at home Rachel, out and about Rachel, and self-concept Rachel. At home Rachel.
That does look like me.
Out and about Rachel.
I feel like I go on journeys. Like, yay, out and about. We do something.
Self-concept Rachel.
Ooh, my self-concept. It's fascinating. Nine of Sticks.
What's that one
I feel
again?
like I've been hustling on Mother's Day.
What's this one again? Waiting?
I think so.
Or like
That's the
dead
one with
or
the
something?
stabbing the back.
Oh, okay. It's like big loss kind of.
Yeah.
Oh. And this is
Emotional journey. Moving on from hustling. Today I feel like we hustled.
yeah. Okay. Interesting. Not sure what to make of that.
I do want to know your thoughts.
I think you're tired of COVID trapping us here at home.
Yeah, I am.
And
Simply.
And right now, your experience of going out is qualified by the fact that even when we go out, we keep running into what I call
yeah. I keep remembering
COVID days.
Yeah, like
it's
I
like
forget
we
the
can't get anything done today.
It's like the Intuitard really shows up.
I don't want to wait in that fucking line, you know?
No. My goodness, like we just have pee to feed.
And then okay.
It does. It's been making me depressed. Who's Eric? Your tribute to your mother was lovely, and was that Rachel's mom and dad in the video?
No, it was just me and my family, and the only one of Rachel's family is in it is Rachel, and because she went to Hawaii with me. Oh, and Delilah's boyfriend is not the family, the biological family too.
Yeah.
Okay, CJ O'Connell.
Cool. Yeah, CJ. I would like advice too. I would like advice as well. And I would like one for you.
Okay. Okay. CJ O'Connell. What you need? No, first, what you want. What you want. What you want. You want this.
Ace of Cups, joy and love.
What you need.
What you need. Page of Pentacles, a new start and a childish start, or maybe a beginning of a new money venture. Or you might want to buy something, a little something for yourself.
Now, CJ O'Connell,
And I
here's
cough, it's because it's not awesome weed sometimes. Yeah.
All right.
And
So
sometimes I take in too much. I'm TE polar, guys.
here's what you deserve. What you want, what you need.
You deserve,
What you
CJ.
deserve.
Oh, Page of Cups, flirtation.
Now, what
A
you
fish in a cup.
expect. This is the last one, CJ O'Connell. What you expect. What you want, what you need, what you deserve, and what you expect.
Yeah, I like that.
Then the fifth one is going to be what you gonna get.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Post Eric, do it all.
What you want, what you need, what you deserve, what you expect,
and what you get.
You expect, your expectations are through the roof, mister. You're expecting the sun.
You're feeling like your shit don't stank.
Now this one popped out as the fifth card. The fifth card might be what you're going to get, but I don't like to predict
not
the future.
Bad. It's slow pace, but your money venture, it's going to profit pretty nicely. But it's not as big as what you believe. But it's pretty damn good. Like steady, slow-paced money movement. But you're going to be like, damn, this feels good. I'm a fucking prince on a horse. Hell fuck yeah.
Sensory trash. I like that expression there.
Yeah, sensory trash. Right? It is chill. Yeah, good for you.
Rachel,
CJ?
are you starving?
I could definitely eat.
I'm getting pretty starving here.
Let's do it.
I think
Let's
we
do
should
it,
go.
baby.
I think we should go eat. All right. I have my normal sudden starvation onset syndrome, where I go from perfectly fine to completely starving in 5 seconds. So I have to go now so we can go get something to eat. Otherwise, because look, the problem is this. I would love to live stream longer, but I've got probably a 10-minute window. If I push this more than about 10 minutes, I probably won't make it and die of starvation before I get to the food store.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like the Oregon Trail.
My life is like Oregon Trail. You know how people are always dying of starvation, willy-nilly, left and right? You like,
yeah, I did.
yeah, it's like you don't get a cup of coffee, and all of a sudden you starve to death.
Yeah, well.
So
I don't know
anyway,
why.
that is totally me. I've always, but so far I can't believe I've made it 49 years. Still haven't starved to death, but any minute now, if I delay this any longer, I could not make it back again. You know.
I know. Can you just could you pull an advice card for me, because I don't want to be stuck in that 9 of sticks.
Okay, I'm gonna do the same
Get rid of
for you that I did for
9 of sticks.
Okay.
Energy.
What you want?
Thank you.
What you want is that.
Working together as a team, we can do this.
What you need.
What you. Ooh la la!
And what you expect.
Eek.
Dinner with Jesus. Your expectations are starting to line up with reality.
Yeah.
What are you gonna get? Or it could. I'm not predicting the future. This is
Okay. Well, what am I gonna get? Fuck yeah! I think I won the lotto with that reading.
Yeah, you really did just win, you know.
I did. I really did win.
What you
I won
need,
the tarot lotto, guys.
or what you know what I have one more I didn't do. I didn't do what you deserve.
Okay, what do I
got what
deserve?
you want, what you need is those two.
Yep,
that's
what I need. I need Magician Him and me, Justice.
And just justice in general too is something you need.
Yeah.
And then this I said is what you expect.
Jesus, my wish is to come true. Jesus with
Is what you're gonna get.
the levers. And what do I deserve?
What do you deserve? Let's find out.
That's a good question.
This is the other one that I did for Immunity Mia. So. What does she deserve? Never shivers the answers from your wisdom. Oh. Not that one. I can just tell.
Yeah, thank you. I agree with that vibe totally.
Right. It's this one. This is what you deserve is
to be stressed out.
To be stressed out. Must be from a past life. Listen, I'm guessing that this is from a past life. You may have. Yeah. You may feel.
Well, this is what I deserve. I deserve all this greatness for the shit that I was put through.
Yeah, that's a better way. This is maybe the card. This is why you deserve.
Yeah, I am not Kylo Ren. I am not Kylo Ren, guys.
Instead of what you deserve, this is why you deserve. Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
makes more sense.
Yeah, it does make more sense.
The thing is,
that was such a nice reading. Thank you so much. I feel a lot better.
Good. I'm glad because I want to relieve this. I want to take this away and just say, no, you go right back over there. You get back into that deck.
This feels so good.
You stay in that deck next to the 3 of the wands and the 6 of the cups that you're between right there. You just stay there, mister. We're just going to focus on these buttes. There's some buttes. This is a nice pull.
Yeah.
That's a rich and chewy pull.
I'm really you took a picture, right?
No, but you can see it now. This video is recording, so it's right here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's so nice.
That's juicy. Okay, you know what else is going to be juicy? The food that we go eat right now.
Yeah.
I'm starving.
I'm ready for it, too.
All right. Would you like to eat some burgers? Or are we tired of that food?
No.
Okay. Anything in particular calls your name?
Mexican.
Mexican. Let's get some Mexican.
Okay.
All right. This is for everybody. Good night. Remember, dream of these things, people. Dream of the moon.
On Mother's Day for the moon. The moon represents the mother.
Mm-hmm.
On Mother's Day, think about what life is on your own without your mom. And think about what it is with your mom, too.
Mom's at home worrying about you. Meanwhile, you're standing over here trying to show off for that chick.
Wow, look at them. They're like both looking. They're like both looking in like the same direction.
Mom's so far away, it's daytime.
Think about your mom and what she's taught you. What you gained from your mom. You know? Sometimes it's to leave these things behind.
No, Bacon, I don't think it works like that. Because I think that follow through is Essie over a longer stretch of real time, and opportunism is Essie over a short stretch time, basically. All right, I gotta go. I gotta eat, or else, like I said, I'll die, and then this will be the last live stream ever, and everyone will be all sad, and you have to come to my funeral, and that's gonna cost you a plane ticket. You don't want to spend that money, so I'll see you.
Bye.